All right, we got Bo Porter in the digs. And I think the week leading up to Game 1 on Friday, we can kind of go down memory lane and take you through some of the great World Series that some of our analysts have been a part of. I was fortunate enough, I signed a 2-year deal with San Francisco and broke my wrist and never got truly a chance to play for Bruce Bochy, but just being around that man and being in that clubhouse. And I'm going to take you back to the 2010 World Series because you talk about kind of not mirroring the Philadelphia Phillies, but a team that gets hot at the right time and starts believing and has pitching to get it done that's going to keep you in every game. And I know you played against some of these guys, you coached some of these guys. So I'm just going to take you through some moments. I'm going to take you to Game 1. Real quick, I got so many stories to tell about this. Game 1, Mikey Young's one of my best friends in the entire sport. Played with him in Texas. We meet behind home plate before Game 1 because we knew we weren't going to talk throughout the course of the World Series. I was going to let him do his job, and I was going to be on the side of San Francisco, right? And we met. And I could just see the confidence oozing off him because they had just slayed their dragon, the New York Yankees, in the ALCS. And I just felt like he was talking like, hey, you know, it's our time. And I was like, Mikey, I don't know if you've been paying attention to us, but we just took down the Philadelphia Phillies, who at that time
they were a
team
beast.
as anybody.
Yes.
And we had the pitching with Timmy and Matt Cain, and Mad Bum was a puppy. So I'm going to take you to Game 1. Does anyone remember Freddie Sanchez? 4 for 5 in Game 1. His first 3 ABs, he went double, double, double. That's the first time that's ever been done in World Series history. 3 doubles in a row. Freddie can move the ball around a lot.
Yes, and when you start talking about it being your time, there will be an unsung hero, someone who's going to have a great performance this World Series that is going to be unexpected.
And then what? Cody Ross.
Cody Ross, the boss.
Cliff Lee hadn't given up a thing the entire postseason. He roasts that ball up the middle, and I just think back to Game 1, the NLCS.
He can skip out on you.
You talk about walking into a hostile environment, and this is kind of what they're going to walk into, the Houston Astros in Citizens Bank, and he took Roy Halladay deep twice, and then Juan Uribe steps up and puts the game on ice. Game 1, Darren O'Day, 3-run bomb.
And he caped them.
Oh.
and
he come in and go, bah, get the boys going. He didn't speak a lick of English, but every dude in that clubhouse knew exactly what he was saying.
Yes, Juan Uribe.
Juan was one of the best teammates I ever had.
One of the best teammates I ever had, and one of the best players I ever coached. You know how, DeRo, I go through all the signs?
Yeah.
When Juan Uribe gets traded over to us. So I go through all the signs, and I finish. He comes over to me. Hey, if I swing, just clap twice. No swing, clap once. All he wanted to know was hit and run. That's all he wanted to know.
Oh, my God. And he could pick it at third base.
Yes, he can, with a rocket for an arm.
All right, so San Francisco's up 1-0. I'll take you to Game 2. Game 2, again, before his time, before like analytics was real, I guarantee you Matty Cain's fastball had elite spin rate on it.
Spin rate, yes.
Because he
and top of the zone.
Right? Top of the zone. Throw that little slider, nasty, like front hipper. Look, Ian Kinsler, one of the better fastball hitters I played with. Nelly Cruz, Vlad Guerrero Sr., Mikey Young, all these guys just popping it up the entire game. And he was phenomenal for us that entire postseason run. So we end up winning both Game 1 and Game 2, get on the plane to go to Texas. We drop Game 3 to Colby Lewis, and I'm like, okay, now we got a series, right? 2-1. I'm sitting there watching as basically a fan and a glorified, hype man.
Well, when you think about that Rangers team, yes, they had slayed their dragon, and offensively, they came into that series, they were hot. But that's when you start to look at World Series competition. Good pitching is going to beat the good hitting.
Yeah.
Especially if they're able to execute their pitches.
All right, take me to Game 3, S-Rod. Let's change the channel. Game 3, actually, take me to Game 4. We don't want to see Game 3. We lost Game 3. I'm going to take you to Game 4. Madison Bumgarner, look at this puppy dog. Before he became Mad Bum, he went 8 scoreless as a rookie in Arlington. Sitting next to him on the bench, flatline, like he expected to go out there and dominate.
Yes, when you look at stars being born on this stage. This was the beginning of Madison Bumgarner taking Major League Baseball by storm. And I think back to that game, what I realized is just how good his fastball was. And he was that left-handed pitcher that can drive the fastball to the inner third against righties. And Texas just did not have an answer for the Mad Bum that night.
And the other thing is, look who's catching him. Both these guys were rookies. He was 21 years old. Buster, we knew coming out of spring training, we were not leaving with the most talented player in our organization. You could just tell the way Buster showed up to spring training, the way his locker was meticulous, the way he took his BP. At some point, he was going to come up and help us, kind of like Harper did in 2012. Buster showed up. Boch didn't even hesitate. It's like, you're batting third. That's it. And we're going to roll with you. And just to watch him command and do all it's Aubrey Huff goes 2-run bomb to give us the lead in this game. Everyone's able to settle down. 2-1 is kind of, when you got a 2-1 lead, everyone's concerned, and then Buster goes dead center to kind of put the game on ice. And Mad Bum goes 8 scoreless. Everyone's going nuts. I remember going up 3-1.
And you start to feel like it's your
going
time.
Back to the hotel, I'm like, oh my God, I might have a chance to actually be a part of the best team in the world for one season. That was big. And then to show back up for Game 5, run it. We had the right man on the mound, Tim Lincecum. He was the epitome of what the San Francisco Giants, anyone during those runs, when he would take the mound to management, electric feel, that place was rolling, okay? He had that nasty changeup working. We had a bullpen, and then Edgar Renneria, pause this real quick. Can we pause it? Run that back, give me a nice shot of him. Okay, Edgar Renneria was not our starter at shortstop for the majority of the season that year, okay? He calls a meeting late August in Wrigley Field, underneath right field in the batting cage, talking about the division's ours if we want it. He wanted to bring the team together, and he starts sobbing, crying. This is my last year. I'm going to retire. I want one more shot at it. We're good enough to get it done. There's a lot of guys in this room that haven't been there. You deserve to feel what postseason it changed our entire, it flipped our season.
And you know what that makes me think about? I think about Schwarber and his experience with the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
And what he is bringing to that locker room in Philadelphia, kind of similar what Edgar was able to do for you guys in 2010.
Look at the situation. Cliff Lee, I mean, he was the best in the business at that time, matching locking horns with Tim Lincecum. No one had flinched, 0-0. And, I mean, Edgar hits a 3-run bomb, and this is when you start to like, oh my God. Oh my God. The San Francisco Giants are about to be the World Series champions here, because there's no one getting to our bullpen at that point. Brian Wilson hadn't given up a run, and in that moment, I remember kneeling in the corner of the clubhouse before he threw that pitch, and I ran the Rolodex from T-ball to high school, little league, college. I'm like, I'm gonna be on the best team in the world.
It's the greatest feeling in sports.
It's crazy.
Being the last team standing and celebrating in the middle of the diamond. It is the absolute greatest feeling.
It doesn't make
in sports.
sense, actually, for a split second, because so many things got to go your way.
And so many players that don't get an opportunity to experience this, when you find yourself in that moment, you almost black out.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't know. I wasn't out there, but I was standing.
But you were part of it. You were part of it. And we all search. We all search for that feeling. We search for that feeling.
Lauren, you talk about a moment in time. That was a moment in time, right, where it all comes together. Pat Burrell. I mean, but just a great group, an eclectic group. And I had a room. I was tight with the traveling secretary, so he'd give me the suite on the road. And if you checked into DeRo's room in 2010, it ran the gamut from Barry Zito to Lincecum to Brian Wilson to Pat Burrell to Aubrey Huff to I've got Emmanuel Burris, Sergio Romo. It was a random bunch of guys that truly came together and did something.
Panda.
Panda.
Yeah.
The Panda Man was my locker mate.
And how about Bruce Bochy? The celebration happened in Texas, and now he is the manager.
Now he goes back there, so
in Texas.
He knows.
He knows.